Hey guys, welcome. Muskie Road Rules Podcast, episode number 233. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in with us every week. You know, it seems like we're getting more and more numbers, which is always good. Yeah, we want you to text us too. Text us on our Lungin Lures text line at 606-776-6570. Guys, Lungin Lures, makers of the 22 short, 22 long. They got all kinds of 22s over there. Tons of different crankbaits, Chad Shad. They've got the new Alley Cat series of lures and also all the spinners that they have. Check them out at LunginLures.com. Today's podcast is brought to you by Thorne Brothers. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, if you're going to need whatever bait that you're going to need, Thorne Brothers has got it. I don't care what it is. Here's the deal. If they don't have it, then you don't need it. That's the way you got to do it. And I tell you what, if you're looking for rods, these guys been making rods forever, and their new Stealth series is something that you want to check out. I've got Luke Swanson on here tonight. Luke, have you seen the new Stealth series of rods?
I have seen them, and I have a handful already unordered, and they should be ready by the season comes around here in about a month.
Well, that's good. That's good. What about Scott? Have you seen any of the Stealth rods from Thorne Brothers?
No, I have not. I'm still throwing the old Diamondback series that they twisted up for us years ago. But, no, I have not held them yet down here in Southern Illinois.
So you're old school, but you want to get new school, and you want to check these things out. I've actually been throwing them now for the last, ever since I got started in March. And I tell you what, I really like them. They're light. They're very strong because I'm very clumsy in the boat. And they don't break, and they seem to be a really, really good rod, all the way up to 10 foot. You can have them made any way you want. Thorne Brothers always good at customizing, but these Stealth rods are standard, off the rack, walk up, pick it up in a bunch of different styles and models. So make sure you check that out. And one of the things we're going to be talking about on here tonight is Thorne Brothers' big spring sale coming up this weekend. And let me tell you who I got on here. Jesus, I'm not even I'm just saying names, and no one knows what I'm talking about. We got Scott Donovan from down on Kincaid. Say hi, Scott.
Hey guys,
all right. We got Luke Swanson from up north.
Hey guys.
And then we've got apparently someone just got in their truck. Who was that? Scott, is that you? Did you just stop?
No, I'm good. I'm good here.
All right.
That would be me, the one you haven't introduced yet. I'm just getting home.
Oh my God! This is Tucker Swanson. Luke's. They were separated at birth. It was one of those Stockholm syndrome thing. I think. Yeah. And they.
Whether from.
There you go. There you go. Well, if it was in Kentucky, it could be the same mother, but it's one of those things. Did I ever tell you about my one buddy down here? We call him Uncle Daddy. He married. He had a situation where he married his nephew's ex-wife, and his nephew had a child, and he had a child, and so the childs are first cousins and brother and sister.
That's a screwed up tree branch there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You're jealous. Hey, I've been in Minnesota enough. Trust me, I guarantee you there's some of that stuff up there. Have you ever been to Cass Lake? Jesus.
That's nothing like the Appalachians. Come on.
Oh my God. Well, you're probably right. At least they didn't do a movie called The Hills Have Eyes near you, or Wrong Turn. Wrong Turn was not a good. Our tourism commission was not real happy with Wrong Turn came out. That was a bad one. But Tucker, you're working there at Thorne Brothers. What is your official title at Thorne Brothers? Do you have to wear a crown?
Wear a what?
A crown?
Oh no, not quite yet. We'll leave that for Doug.
Nice.
But my title, it seems like it changes every week from Ben and Kurt, but I think right now it's Pro Staff and Content Manager.
Ooh, look at you.
Pretty fancy.
It is. It is. So let me say, Tucker, I didn't know you until we started working with Thorne's. What got you involved with Thorne Brothers? How long you been there, and what's a little bit of your background?
So I have been there now for probably about 2 years, but I was only part-time for a year, and then Ben and Kurt kind of weaseled their way once they bought the shop there. They wanted a little kind of media department, and then I kind of came in from that. Needed some help with social media and organizing a pro staff program for them, and just like we added you on this winter.
That was a big moment. That was a big moment.
It was.
It was a big moment for everyone. It was there was a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of circumstances, not as much pomp. So what's your background in fishing? I mean, why were you working at the store just, part time? You said, what was your other job?
Yep. So I was just working at the store part time, just pretty much for the discount.
Sure.
Because I'm just kind of a musky nut, just like everybody else at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working actually at a golf shop and did my internship with them with doing some media stuff for their social media and whatnot in the winter. And then Ben and Kurt came and approached me, and they found out what I was doing over there and just kind of worked out at the right time and snuck on over once they got full ownership.
Nice. Well, that's a cool deal. Let's talk about. Are you doing lunges right now or burpees? Somebody's breathing hard. What was that? Scott, are you doing burpees?
I'm sitting there patient.
Okay, good. Let's talk about the sale that's coming up. What can people expect if they now? Is it online? Is it in person? What's happening here?
So we're doing it fully in person for April 14th to the 16th this weekend, and it's going to be the best in-store deals of the year, which is, if you guys have been to any of the shows, muskie shows, ice fishing shows, it's going to be very similar deals to what we're doing there, but it's going to be everything in the shop.
Okay.
So we're not going to have to. So we're actually going to have everything there. It's not going to be pick and choosing like what we do for the shows, like muskie shows. I think probably the first 3 questions we get every time is something we're like, oh, we didn't bring it. This is not just a time where we got everything there, and everything's going to be discounted.
Okay. Well, good. So it's not online, though, right? You can't go to www.
We will be announcing some online stuff during the weekend. I think we're going to do something on Monday and maybe Tuesday, but we haven't announced anything on that yet.
Okay, so this is going to be people just going to the store and seeing what you got on sale, and seeing. Are you going to have vendors there? Are you going to have circus clowns, anything like that?
We wish for the circus clowns, but we are going to have Muskie Mayhem there.
Oh, so you're having Brad, so you got a clown. It's good.
Yep. Brad will be there tying up some custom bucktails. Jeff Schulte with Bomb Squad will be there with some show colors and some other ones for the flaptails and tomahawks from him.
Nice.
Beaver Baits will be there as well. And then Chaos Tackle will also be there with a lot of their show stuff.
Okay. So you got quite a bit of stuff there going to be set up. And, like I said, earlier, the rods and stuff you guys are doing now, the stealth stuff, just really, really, really nice stuff, and something I think people are, if you haven't tried them, or if you haven't, or if you're looking at maybe getting a new rod for this season, especially, I highly recommend the longer ones, the 10-foot heavies that they got. It kind of fits a pocket that the other 10-footers don't, and I think you're really going to like them. So that'll be awesome. What time are you opening the doors? Can I camp out?
Yep, we might even give you a key, Greg. We can get you a cot inside down in the warehouse there.
This is exciting. This is exciting. What?
It'll start up at 9 o'clock on Friday morning and go to 7, and then it'll be normal weekend hours of 8 to 5 both weekend days.
All right. Well, good.
I stopped by the Thorne Brothers booth at the Chicago show and picked up some of that Sims rain gear. I ended up going with the the middle of the line stuff. It was that camo version with a little bit of orange in it.
Oh, the CX?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's
Yep.
really held up this spring in the rain. We got a ton of rain in March and 4 inches one day, and
Ew.
I stayed dry the whole time. So I know you guys got the rods and custom stuff, but you probably have one of the better selections of Sims gear, and also working with the warranty department and having Ben there to help has been helpful for the years. But just throw that out there to you guys.
Definitely.
No, rain gear, I mean, people don't realize how important rain gear is. I mean, I'm coming from the old days of the poncho, and, you know, I always love it when I see guys show up, and I go, did you bring rain gear? You think it's going to rain? And, you know, I'm like, well, I mean, they're giving it. And they go to Walmart, and they show up with the $2 poncho. It literally, they look like a California raisin. With they might as well just wear a Glad bag over their head.
Yeah, we got that.
Oh, yes. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I have seen several variations of rain gear in my day. But some of this new stuff is so good. What do you got there at the store? I know you got a lot of Sims stuff, but do you have any other lines?
Sims and Blackfish is going to be kind of what we're doing for the clothing side of things. And then I think the fly shop just did get some Grundon stuff in at the Fly Angler, which is also a part of Thorne Brothers upstairs there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so what's all right? I've never seen the Blackfish stuff. What's the deal with that?
So it's from Clam. So Blackfish is just kind of an offshoot from Clam. Very high quality stuff, just like the Sims stuff.
Okay.
But to be honest, I just am using a lot more of the Sims gear myself. That's kind of what we push. That's what we're seeing as kind of the best thing, especially on the ring gear side of things.
Sure. No one likes to go out there and get wet all day. I know that's one thing. You know, there gets the point where you're like, oh, it's not so bad. I don't mind getting a little wet. Well, at the end of the day, nothing sucks more than getting back to the boat and getting back to the ramp, and you're just completely soaked to your underwear. That's usually when I call it. When my underwear gets wet, that's when I'm like, all right, we're done. I can survive a lot, but when my underwear gets wet, we are done with the day. But speaking of underwear,
That happens often, or
well, yeah, it can. Sometimes it's from the inside, though. That's the problem. Speaking of underwear, Luke Swanson, what are you up to?
We are just starting to prep for the season. We finally got warm weather and no snow, and I got my boat being rigged right now. I actually just dropped it off at Aqua Traction to get some new flooring on it, and then electronics need to go on, and I just rigged to me about 2 weeks ago. So there's a lot of boat prep happening on my.
What kind of boat do you got?
I picked up a 22-foot Skeeter bay boat. So I can take that from up here in Minnesota and then go down to the saltwater in Fort Myers in the wintertime and go back and forth with that boat.
Nice. That'll be cool. This evening, the reason I had to push the podcast back a little bit is that I got to put new batteries in my boat because today it took about 3 minutes for my trolling motor to turn in a 360. So I'm assuming I have a bad battery. And I have the best boat in the world. I call it paid for. And that's why it's the best boat in the world. The problem is my boat is probably older than most of the people, some of the people listening to this thing. It's an 01 620 tiller. I love the boat. Put a new motor on it last year. It's great. The one thing that I'm glad, at least, that Ranger did do is they moved the batteries. Right now, it takes, for me to change a battery in my boat, it takes all kinds of moving the battery, turning it upside down, flipping it, pushing it. I got to unhook like 6 things just to change the batteries. So
yeah,
that is the one thing. How is the batteries in your bay boat? Is it under the seat? Is there a seat there that's under, or what?
It's right in the dead center of the center console, which makes it super easy. I mean, the guy before me had 5 batteries in it. We're going down to 3 batteries going forward. So there's gobs of room underneath and makes it easy. I mean, you got to stick your head down into that center console, but it's not as bad as what you got going for sure.
Mine's horrible. Mine's one of the worst experiences of my life. When I thought I had to change batteries, it's literally one of the worst things you could possibly do. Scott, what kind of boat do you got?
I'm running a 2007 620, but I was having nightmares thinking about my 1988 Ranger 680 tiller and just customizing the 24 volt in the front for the Tarova. It was hell.
Oh, it's the worst. I mean, these boat companies finally are thinking, you know what? Some people might have to change their batteries every once in a while. And to do it, they do not want to. It's like that show Hidden Figures. You need some woman to figure out some kind of mathematical problem on how to get a stupid battery out of your boat. I mean, it's hard. Tucker, what kind of boat do you got?
I got an old 92 681.
So you know what it's like back there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, crawling around, flashlight in the mouth, in your teeth, or, a spotlight, you're blind, all of a sudden a mouse runs out. I
You swear the cord's right there, and then it's in this little offshoot that you didn't think was there.
Exactly. This is the thing. Now, let me ask you, Luke, are you a lithium guy?
I am a lithium guy. I switched last year to amped lithium batteries for trolling motor and all my electronics, and I didn't have a single problem. I didn't have batteries die, and like when I'm in the salt, I have both my live wells running, all of my electronics running, live scope, all that.
Did you get a good interest rate on the battery payment?
Good enough where it was worth the price of it, of not losing a trip on, how many days I've lost trips in the last few years because of battery problems.
Yeah.
It seemed like I'd kill 1 or 2 batteries a year. And if you lose 2 days on the water, that can be a huge down payment for a battery either way.
Sure.
And picked up clients that won't be coming back. So, having that peace of mind where you can put a battery in and not have a problem and be able to run and meet clients and make it through the full day of fishing. I mean, in my head, it's a no-brainer.
What is, let me ask you this. What, because I think this is, now, Scott, do you run lithium?
No, I run Duracell AGMs.
I run, what I do is I actually have a whole string of D batteries. And I've got like 100 of them. And that's
solar panel,
all wired in.
Panel.
Yeah, mine's all off one giant solar panel. What about you, Tucker? Do you run lithium?
No, I do not run lithium. I just got some AGMs in there right now.
Sure. Okay. So let me ask you this, Luke, considering you're the resident expert on this. The one, I know the weight is a huge with the lithium. It saves a lot of weight. Trust me, I know I about lost a toe to a battery this evening. And then the other thing is, so what size, you're going to 3 batteries. What size batteries do you run?
Oh, I look at them here across the shop as they're here. Let me walk over. So I'm doing 100 amp for a 12 volt battery for all my electronics. And then for a 36 volt, a 60 amp for those. I might end up carrying 2 60 amps or running them in parallel for the trolling motor, just for some saltwater applications of when a big tide's running through a channel and we got to fish tarpon instead of using the big motor to be able to use that. But again, like last year, I really never had a problem down there.
So you're running. Say that. I'm very dumb. So what are you running again?
So amped outdoors.
Yes.
100 amp 12 volt, and that's going to be for just my electronics, my
Okay.
live scopes, Hummingbird side imaging, stuff like that.
Okay.
All the graphs, and then an amped outdoors 36 volt 60 amp. And that's one battery for a 36 volt system. And like I'm pairing that with a new Tarova that'll be coming out at ICAST this year. And you pair it with that, it is extremely impressive on how long and how much battery life it actually sucks of not sucking any battery life with their new trolling motor coming out at ICAST.
Why is it? What's so good about it?
I would, that's probably a different podcast in the future. I can't really say more than it's impressive compared to what they have out right now. They've redesigned almost everything.
Okay.
So very impressed so far with it. There's a few kinks right away, but with anything coming out brand new, last year we ran it and it's been fixed, and it's very impressive with the lithium battery on how long it runs, how quiet it is, everything, all the above.
I guarantee you it runs better than mine was today, because mine actually at the end of the day, it was like, all right, cast up there, get hung on that stump, you pull us that way, and then the other guys cast. That became the trolling motor. I was the trolling motor at the end of the day, hooking stuff and dragging us along. So, yeah, it has to be better than that. So all right, so you're happy with the lithium. Now, here's the question that I've always had, because I've actually got a lithium. I've got an amped outdoor lithium. It's a 60 amp hour, 12 volt. Okay. And I was running all my electronics on it. And it did okay. It actually did okay, as long as I charged it. The problem is when it got cold, it wouldn't charge. Is that something you've noticed or seen?
So I guess I have the luxury of keeping it in a heated shop when it is cold, and when it's cold, I'm usually elsewhere.
I stay in a really shitty Indian-owned motel when it's cold, and curry does not heat your batteries, or it does sting the nostrils, but it does not heat batteries. And I could not.
They've been. That's been something I've heard as well, that it does get under 32 degrees. It is tough to charge it. Overall. And I know a few of my buddies that have ran it in the cold and they just take it out because it's so light. But again, taking out a battery in 01, you said, right? 01 tiller?
Well, no, I have this one because I've got 5 batteries with the amped outdoor, with the small one. I have wires running everywhere. If you are OCD, you would have a panic attack in my boat. Because
I'm gonna stay then.
I've got wires running. Like when I take the back hatch off my boat, I just want to vomit because I don't know what's back there. Sometimes it makes noises, things tick, but I guarantee you there's 20 wires back there that go to nothing. I would almost put money on that I've got 20 wires that go absolutely nowhere. Today, I pulled 2 out this evening. I found when I was changing the battery that they were literally just a 3 feet piece of wire, and no clue where it went. So at least I'm on top of things.
Very on top of that.
Greg, you still running another boat up north, or are you running the tiller all over?
No, I've got the tiller. Now that I'm doing the Lake of the Woods stuff, I'm doing the tiller up north. Now I am looking. I would love to have something up there, but personally, the older I get, the shittier the boat I want. I would love to find like an old, 20-foot Lund tiller with no carpet. God, I hate carpet. And just, that stuff like a camp boat, deal with a trolling motor. I could put my electronics, let's face it, nowadays, it's not the boat, it's the electronics to me. You could have a kind of a shitty boat, but have the good electronics on there and you can catch fish. That's kind of my deal. I got a good buddy I grew up with that's fishing the crappie trail, the Crappie USA, and his name's Chris Mann. Him and his dad fish it, and they've won Team of the Year the last 4 years on the trail. And that's the one thing with him. He goes, we got a $10,000 boat, but we've got a $4,000 boat, but we've got 12,000 of electronics on it, and that means a lot. So it definitely does. And like I said, I would like to have another one but I did put a new motor on my boat last year. I put a new 115 Yamaha. Those have been the best motors for me. I mean, because I break everything multiple times, and that motor has been the toughest motor I've ever used. So I'm hoping my last one when we took it off had 6,000 hours on it. So, yeah, I mean, if it can what now?
I was going to say, I'm at my life as a guide. I'm at my storage unit right now changing out batteries. So it's kind of funny we're talking about this. And every battery that I'm taking out are Interstate 31s because they only last about a day in the rental. So, yeah, so we're talking about the right thing. But
yeah, I don't know. I run the 31 series.
They last, but not as long as anything like an AGM or a Lithium. I mean,
no, exactly. That's the thing. Well, Scott, since you're in there playing around, how's it been down there on Kincaid?
March was incredible. Yeah, pre-spawn madness, just like you guys have down in Cave Run. But yeah,
we had madness. It was a little tough, but we had more madness this year.
Well, it got hot, it got cold. You know, I mean, everyone's always complaining, but it's spring. Expect it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we started off early. We started off the end of January, and then our fishing was real good mid-February, and then all the big girls started moving in about the first week of March. We started getting into the mid-40s.
Nice. What was your all's biggest this spring so far?
Chris has got a 46.5, and mine was 45.25.
Nice. Well, that's cool. So, I'm assuming was the rattlebait pretty good? Rattlebait bite pretty good for you guys?
Yeah, of course. 95% of the fish came on them. And then Shallow Invader, and then Hellhound in a close second.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, Sand Rayburn colors, and Team Rhino Outdoors is at Sand Rayburn, and Orange Craw was really good. Mm-hmm. And the water stayed muddy, so Orange Coach Dog. And
sure.
Yeah, no, it was classic. If you weren't throwing a trap for a while, you weren't getting bit.
Sure, I understand that. What's happening there right now? Are your fish spawning, done spawning? What do you think?
So North End, and this is kind of proven by the DNR. He just got done running the nets, and he actually had a pretty banner year, close to 400 fish in 4 days, and actually pulled the nets early this year, which is good to hear. But the North End up in Johnson's Creek area, those fish are done and ready to go. There's good amount of crappie up shallow, threadfin and gizzard chatter popping all over the place, and they seem to be a little bit more active. Water treatment plant, it seemed like they were getting ready to spawn early March. We got that hot weather, and then it got tough for a minute, as you were talking about. They just sat there. I mean, you could see them suspended, you could see them off the bottom, but they wouldn't even chase a little bait for a couple days. But then they got full swing, and we saw them in the creeks. I saw them paired up in the marina, and gave them a break, and been running some crappie trips and just getting back into it right now.
Okay. How's it been here in the last few days, last week or so?
So I've been mostly crappie fishing this past week, but when we have been out, they want it kind of twitched and rolled. So we went back to the Hellhounds and Shallow Invaders and Booker Shallow Raider, kind of the baby raider that he makes. Mm-hmm. He's really erratic with real small taps. And it seems like they just want to roll on them. A lot more little males than the big females, but the ones that are rolling behind the Hellhounds have been some bigger females, but they're beat up, and they just got done having a little fun. So
sure,
they're going to. I think we still got about another week till it turns on, and Kentucky actually this weekend, which is another reason why we're kind of getting some stuff done. So
what did you say? You cut out there.
Back of the woods. I'm headed to Barren River this weekend. Sneak away. I want to give these fish just one more week to kind of recoup before it really turns back on.
Yeah. Our lake fish right now, I think, are spawning. The lake has been absolutely horrid, but the fish up in the river are pretty much done. and they're recouping pretty well and actually starting to feed again and everything. And the ones we're catching are just absolutely beat up.
Oh yeah, yep.
They're looking.
That that's where in Barren River. I was kind of thinking the same thing there. Just between there and Bowling Green.
Yep.
From what I've seen here, I figured it was a little bit behind, but yeah, we've been keeping busy. The morels are popping. It's 75 degrees. The lake's beautiful. All the wildflowers. We've been seeing river otters, and I mean, you name it. It's been really good, and it's also been nice to see some guys coming down. Parking lots pretty busy. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio, guys getting out early, so it's good to see.
Yeah. No. What's your water temperatures right now?
It's been fluctuating, but right now it's in the mid-60s. I think a little bit of a false read on the surface just because it's been so hot for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But, yeah, mid-60s.
Wow, that's way warmer than us. We're still, well, not way warmer, but like in the mornings we're starting out at 55, 56. End of the day we'll hit 62, 63. But
it's about what it was a week ago.
Yeah.
So Chris has got the Klein finder, so I haven't been able to drop temps down on the main lake because I like to be on top of that. That's summer, that kind of spring stratification and making sure I'm following the lake turning over from the north end down to the dam. So
yeah,
I missed that tool, but
it's it's our water temperature's still it's a little cooler. I'm just going by the Panoptics. Every once in a while, I'll just throw it in and let it sink down to like 10 feet. And get the temperature off it, and
that's nice.
There's a little difference, but our even down a little bit's 54ish. So, but we're supposed to be nice. I mean, I'm sure you guys are getting the same nice weather we are.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and even it doesn't even look like it's going to cool down that much on the 10 days. So we're still going to be 50s and 60s and 70s, even close to 80. A little bit.
We found a lot of our fish, because we're a couple of weeks ahead of you guys, just because of elevation too, is that we found our fish just highly conjugated this year. I mean, of course, the mud flats, and we know, it's like fishing the flats or fishing Scotts Creek. I mean, you're in the back of Big Cave. You're gonna get something good. Here, we hit our money spots, and we just could not believe the number of fish within 15, 20 feet. And one of the DNR nets in 2 days pushed out 62 fish. I was telling clients all spring, I'm like, you guys are over some serious fish, but 60 in one net in 2 days. I mean, they were definitely conjugated, and they really liked that little bit of warmer weather. Wherever it was a little bit more stained on the mud flat, they were there.
Wow, that's
it was awesome.
That's crazy. Awesome. Luke, what's your water temperature up by you?
Probably like 32 to 33 and frozen.
Ice
fishing.
Depends how deep you go.
So, all right. So up by you, Luke. Now tell everybody kind of where you fish at up in Minnesota.
I am dead center of the state. Home base here is just north of Brainerd, so I spend a bunch of time on Leech Lake, Alexander, Chaminade, Little Boy, Wabato, kind of that central Leech Lake area. And I travel a touch up to the DL Pelican area for a couple of my favorite clients, and then a couple trips every year for myself, but usually stay close to home and on Leech for the most part.
All right. Tucker, where do you usually fish at?
I fish a lot here in the metro, and it's mainly just Minnetonka. I live in Chanhassen here. I really like Lake Minnetonka. It's very diverse and a lot of different sections of it. And then on my weekends, I'll be pulling my boat into Thorne Brothers and going straight up to Bemidji a lot of the time. I like fishing that area.
All right. Tucker, where'd you get started muskie fishing?
Minnetonka here in the metro.
In Tonka, okay. How was Tonka last year?
I struggled hard, I'll tell you that. But I think that's a lot of me being stubborn, and I got in my old milk run a lot of the time, and it still just kept not showing me fish, and I just kept doing it over and over again.
You know what the definition of insanity is, correct?
Yep, that would have been it.
That would have been doing the same thing over and over and expecting this different result. Well,
You are correct.
that there you go. Trust me, I've done that more times I care to even talk about. So it's it makes it tough. Scott, how's it looking for you for the rest of the spring? Do you think it's going to be business as usual, or what do you think's happening?
We're golden. I just had one quick thought. Greg, you remember fishing the PMTT on Bemidji up by Rutgers?
Oh, yeah.
All those big fish. And my personal best to this day is off the sandbar out in front of Rutgers. And I just remember you sneaking in with that killer eel. And I think you had big fish in the PMTT for years. Was it 54?
Yeah, the 54-incher I got up there on that stupid little killer eel.
What a fishery you guys have up there. I fished Alexandra a bunch, and just flashing back on some cool thoughts of back in the day. But yeah, Kincaid's golden. We're good. We're fully booked out until October and dialed in. We've got a kind of a twitch bait, glide bait bite going. Then we'll switch over to bucktail topwater, and then we'll finish off with our open water trolling bite. So
Scott, let me ask you something. How is your weeds out there? I mean, Cave Run, we've really dealt with. Our milfoil has really taken a hit, and I think a lot of it has to do with the excessive high water we've dealt with the last few years. Is that something that you're seeing there, or is your weed growth still really, really good?
It's incredible. Yeah, it's the best weeds I've seen. We've got a lot more coontail in that 6 to 9 foot, and that 8 foot range, and the coontail's perfect. The milfoil.
Can we have some?
Come on by. No one drains their boat plugs around here, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so I need an armada that people to go to Kincaid, and I mean just fill her up. Live wells, everything. And when you get here, just let it go. Boston Tea Party this bitch.
Feet.
What?
They drew the lake down 3 feet this spring to try to kill off some of the milfoil because, our lake's built for water retention, and there's a water treatment facility, and so they drew that lake down 3 feet. It was beautiful because our rattle trap bite was clean. But then there's an awesome, kind of like Tonka, a beautiful inside weed edge this spring that's been really fun to kind of pick some fish out of that 3 to 4 foot of water. And then, we're getting a little bit of duck pond cabbage, curly weed cabbage, and some of our milfoils already, like in the marina, probably 10 feet high.
Jesus.
Green. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it didn't get hot down, or it didn't get cold. We're kind of felt like Florida. So.
Wow. See, no, we haven't got any of that. Our weeds, like I said, we're dealing with what I think is a little hangover from the floods that we've gotten because, we fluctuate so much with the rains. And actually this year we're low, and I'm hoping that helps. We're actually 3 feet low, and I think they're going to keep it low for a little bit, which will be nice. And I'm hoping it does get our weeds going. I think we're going to have a good PMTT, which is happening here at the end of the month. The last weekend of the month, we got our PMT tournament. And then also, guys, don't forget, I talked about this last week. Talking about this week, we've got our Muskie Hunter Magazine May tournament. It's May 13th. We've got all kinds of prizes, door prizes and stuff. It's $300 to get in, and that's per team. And you can register. Go to muskiehunter.com. You can register right there online. It's actually my bad. I was just told that I'm an idiot. Shocking. Facts are optional with me. It's $250 to get in early, and then if you sign up the week of, it's $300. And it's a great. It'll be a great little tournament. It's a 1-day deal. May 13th. It's a Saturday. And as of right now, it looks like things are going to be moving right along. The temperatures look good, and everything is going to be well on its way. How's it looking up there, Luke, in your area? Does it look like the spring's going to be early? Is it going to be a late? What do you think?
I think spring is kind of here to stay, hopefully. We got 60, 70 degrees here, and then it dips down into the 40s and 50s coming up in the foreseeable future and back up to 60 and 70. So I think it's here, but we got a ton of snow still to run off and to melt and let the rivers blow out and let the lakes kind of warm up here and de-thaw. But everything kind of kicked off this last week. So it's hard to tell of exactly what it's going to be for the year, but we'll be on the lakes either way. So
yeah. What about Tucker? How's the cities look?
So I was gonna drive by Minnetonka on the way home, but I ended up not doing it. But there was a little lake right next to my house here when I was driving in, and it was pretty much fully clear of ice except for one side of the lake had it up along the shoreline. So we are, if Tonka's not open yet, it's close.
Oh wow! Well, that's cool. Now is that about normal early to mid-April?
And I'm really bad at actually remembering it, but I would imagine just like crappie fishing, because we usually do that. We sneak out as soon as we can, and it's usually middle to end of April. So I'd imagine we're kind of right on track for what we usually are.
All right, right on. Well, that's
and we're usually about 2 weeks behind you guys, 2 to 3 weeks. So,
well, all I know is at Lake of the Woods there's a lot of ice. I do know that. According to the neighbors and stuff up there.
Yeah, we were just ice fishing last week up there.
That sounds horrendous. Where were you at?
We were on the southwest corner, pike fishing in about 2 feet of water.
2 feet?
2 feet. Well, let's see. 2 feet ice, 3 feet ice, and then a foot or two of water. So 5 feet total.
Wow. Did you catch any?
We did catch a couple of nice ones, 241s, couple 40s, couple in the high 30s, but it was a disaster getting on and off the lake as we got anything and everything we had very stuck. So was it worth it for a 41? I would say yes, but it was a disaster getting on and off. So
I would be claustrophobic if I was a pike, that I had 3 feet of ice on top of me and 2 feet of water in between. That would make me nervous, but I guess I'm not a pike. Tucker, what is going to be the best deal at Thorne Brothers this weekend? If I walk up there, if I decide to drive all night on Thursday, get up there right when the doors open, you're saying this is the best deal. What is the best deal?
I am so excited about these stealth rods, and this is going to be everybody's last chance to get a little discount on them. So 10% off the stealth rod. The rod shop's been working really hard upstairs, so they got a bunch on the floor, and if it's not exactly what you want, we can definitely write you up for one too.
They've been hiring Puerto Ricans up there to just tool them things out. There is Mexican
Anybody
music.
and everybody.
There's a burrito stand. This place is, you've got them going, huh?
Yep, Lonnie's training like crazy up there, getting everybody whipped up into shape.
Nice. Well, there you go. What kind of baits you got there? What's going to be the hot bait? What's going to be the hot bait?
Hot bait? Oh gosh, where do we even begin? Well, first off, stop with Brad and make up a custom over there. We love Brad over at Muskie Mayhem, and he's been coming to the spring sale forever. But one that we've been really excited about that we got our hands on after the show season was all the Innovations customs and the Moon series that they were doing there.
Well, let's talk about that again real quick. Muskie Innovations, muskieinnovations.com. They're a good sponsor of the podcast. Guys, what is your favorite Muskie Innovations bait? Scott, you go.
Hands down, Shallow Invader. And close second is that new Shallow Dog. It did get chased a couple times and got a 45 this spring. So, but Shallow Invader, hands down. And I'm not just saying Muskie Innovations, possibly the best bait ever built for the muskies.
Well, there you go.
I'm telling you.
Luke, what is your... Oh, let me ask you, Scott, do you do anything with the back hook?
Yeah, every single one of them I do extend back. I do a single wire. Yeah, single wire, and then I do a little custom kind of insert running off the tail to give it a little bit extra length.
Okay, yeah. I started doing, like, we had Cody Daniels on here a couple weeks ago, and he's doing the 3 split rings.
Yeah, I think that the ass end kind of sinks a little bit, and I can't get it to sit neutral. I'm a little OCD with some of these baits that I twitch, so I really like it to just kind of hang there and not with the ass end. I get better hookup. So, yeah, I fish with Cody a bunch, and Chris also does the same thing, but you know how it is. You just into your...
So you want a suspending ass instead of a sinking ass.
Yeah, I like it nice and tight.
Nice and tight. There we go. That kind of guy. What, Luke, what about you?
Oh, hands down the Swimming Dog. That's probably my top 3 favorite baits in my boat is those swim and dog for clients, for myself, burning, ripping through the weeds. I mean, from springtime to fall. I mean, one of my clients usually has a swim and dog on.
So, okay, with the swim and dog, you like the shallow one, the regular, the big, or the little?
Definitely the bigger size, and it really doesn't matter on the like if it's the shallow or the regular. It just kind of depends on the fish's mood and if I want to keep it up high or if I want to rip it through the weeds and kind of make it drop more. And I usually add a bell sinker or 2 on the front hook to get it to drop if I'm going to be ripping it through weeds or doing like a pull pause style.
All right, so you like adding a little weight for it so you can work it quicker?
You got it. Or like even in September when they're up shallow, to burn it across the weeds, and then right when you get on, if it's like a 5 to 6 foot drop off or even 8 to 12 foot drop off, to give it a really hard 10-foot rip and then let it fall almost all the way to the bottom and rip it up into the figure 8. And like we were having trouble this last September getting fish to bite, just burning it straight in, and then they were really boat shy, so I gave it a big giant rip one time and the fish smoked it instantly, and it turned into a 5-fish day for clients after we figured that out. And then that bite stayed for like 3 weeks, burning it out of the top of the weeds and then giving it the last few rips about 10, 15 feet out from the boat.
Nice. All right. Now, Tucker, yours.
Mine would be the double dog.
What did you say?
Magnum is the double dog.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the Magnum is my favorite of them all. The Bemidji area, a lot of the weed lines end at like that 8 to 11 feet of water, so it's just a lot easier to keep them over top of it. And then in the metro here, actually after dark, working them really slow, you can actually work those really slow along those deep weed edges. So it's a really good night bait.
Yeah, another great one. Well, I'm going to have to say the Dying Dog, because that possibly is the best bait ever created. It's been written about in textbooks.
One of the best lure creators, too.
One of the best lure creators on earth.
Special touch.
That guy's special, just let me tell you. And he's had a lot of special classes. But I do love the Dying Dog. I love all the baits, okay? Not just saying that. I do. I've caught the Bulldog. I met Brad in the mid-'90s when he was just getting started with it, and the regular Bulldog, I've caught so many fish on the regular Bulldog. Here's the deal. Back when Mille Lacs was just getting going in the early 2000s, we weren't throwing Mag Dogs. We started catching everything on just regular Bulldogs. And, that's what we use a lot down here. I actually like the unweighted ones. I've actually gotten into throwing more unweighted stuff than the weighted stuff, and then adding my own weights to it. With the weight systems that they make now, to me, I just custom weighting them. I just kind of like that. I also like being able to take the weight off so that I can work it shallow in certain areas, so I really like that. But the Dying Dog, guys, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. I talk to Brad every year about it because he says, I noticed at the shows, I was across from at the Minnesota show this year, and he was selling out of a lot of the colors of the Dying Dog. And I said, well, what's going on? Are they starting to sell? And he's like, it's probably been one of, if not, the better selling baits of the shows this year. And it's just a unique bait. I think it's something that people aren't used to seeing, and it's something that people just got to catch on to. He also said that people that catch fish on them always say, don't tell anyone, but this has been really good. And for him, he's like, well, of course I'm going to tell everyone that this is working. But I love adding weights to them. When you add a weight to it, I can get that thing down to the bottom. I can fish it from the bottom to the top. It kind of works, has a lot of action to it, a lot of flips, a lot of flops. But guys, just check them out at muskieInnovations.com. You're gonna love what they got. All right, guys, let's finish this up. Does anybody, Scott? How can somebody go fishing with you? What do you want to promote?
Well, we're down here in southern Illinois on Kincaid Lake. We're also guiding up at Pyramid State Park. We've got 3 lakes up there that the DNR stocked, but company's called Shawnee Expeditions, and you can reach us at ShawneeGuides.com or at my cell phone, 618-201-5820.
Awesome. Luke?
Yes, you can find me at Livin' the Dream Guide Service. We are out of central Minnesota, Leech Lake, and a bunch of the little smaller lakes we got around here. Favorite bite of the year is August and September on Leech. They push up super shallow bucktails, topwaters, little glide baits. That's probably my most absolute favorite time of the year to catch muskies up here. You can find us online, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anything like that. All the information's out there.
OnlyFans?
Ooh, not quite. Not quite.
All right, Tucker.
Yep. So if anybody needs to get a hold of me, they can either send me an email at tucker@thornbros.com, or you can give me a call at 612-616-4011, or give the shop a call at 763-572-3782 if you guys had any Thorne Brothers related questions or anything.
Do you have an OnlyFans page?
I wish.
Oh God.
Here people are making money on there.
Me too. I'm not flexible enough, I think, to get an OnlyFans page. I don't think I could do it. But
You can. I think you could, Greg. I think you could.
I could. Yes, it would have
I
to.
don't think Greg would be on here if he had an OnlyFans, or any of us. We'd be out doing something else.
Exactly. If I could get an OnlyFans page going, I don't know. Here's the deal, guys. Remember, we have our text line. If you would like to see me to get an OnlyFans page going, please send me some ideas at 606-776-6570. Guys, I'm going to cut us off. We had a great talk tonight. Go to the Thorne Brothers Spring Sale this weekend if you're in the area up there. Or if not, just, if you're in Illinois, drive up there. It's only 10 hours. Come on, get with it. Go on up and see that. Scott, good luck. Luke, best of luck with your boat. I'm sure I'll be talking to you guys again. Tucker, have fun at the sale this weekend. I'm going to sign off, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Tight lines, guys. Thanks.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Have a good one. Thanks for having me on.